That'll be fine. I'm just gonna say whatever,
Okay. Yeah.
even if it's shitty.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Welcome back to the Metal and Miniatures podcast, where we take a jack-of-all-trades, master-of-none approach to podcasting topics. This is John in the intro. The topic tonight is embarrassing moments for Josh and I, and unfortunately, thanks to technical difficulties, you guys are going to miss the first 3 minutes of our real recording. You catch us in the middle of our conversation of what exactly are embarrassing moments. Josh starts it off by giving us a silly-ass article from Psychology Today, trying to help us understand that embarrassing moments are just when we are acting out of the norm. And then I try to sound smart and relate it to social norms. So that's where you guys are going to come in at. Thanks very much. Hope you enjoy.
They happen in a group setting, right? And in some way, the social expectation or the social norm is not being adhered to. So, for instance, I'm walking up the steps or down the steps at the mall shopping for, it doesn't even matter, but I was going to try to paint a picture. It's going to suck. But, and I trip. And everyone's expecting me to know how to walk correctly up and down steps. Mm-hmm. But if I trip, because I'm breaking that social norm, it becomes embarrassing for me and, funny for everybody else because of the social break.
Yeah. And I think that's just really quickly, I think that's why I myself was having a hard time thinking back to embarrassing moments in my life because, yes, there was a lot of embarrassing things that happened to me, but for someone else, it was just like for a minute. For me, it's long-lasting. It's a lifetime. I remember it.
Well, first of all, I think that by reliving some of our embarrassing moments here on the podcast, it still is a little embarrassing for you and I, but it's always going to be funny to other people, even if only for a second. So hopefully there'll be a little bit of entertainment
hopefully
value.
It'll be a little bit amusing, just like when the real situation happened. But to get into it a little bit, I thought it'd be good to I thought of a few common embarrassing things that happen to. I would just probably everybody has had at least one of these happen to them.
So like common embarrassing moments.
Common embarrassing moments.
Okay.
So the first one is the handshake fist bump debacle. And you might know what I'm talking about. And in my situation personally is mislanding it and grabbing the fingertips.
Yeah, you have the handshake fist bump debacle where
right,
you keep switching
right,
back and forth.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But then when you finally decide to shake hands,
yeah,
or even if you decided at the beginning to shake hands and you only do the finger grab,
that's their impression of you.
Which
especially someone you just met and they're like, "Wow, that was weak," and it was my fingertips.
It's like you finger creeper.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So that's one. Next one is the hallway dance off. And that one can go off. I mean, that's when you're in the hallway and you can't get past someone. You sit there for 5 minutes trying to get by, making eye contact. The worst, another one that's similar to that one, like in the same vein, is holding the door open for someone, and then they either take too long to get to the door and you're just sitting there forever, or worse, in my situation, they go into a different building.
I've actually never had that second
Serious?
one happen.
This happens like a lot, like, like on a strip mall and you're holding the door and you're like sitting there like looking at them like, I'm such a nice guy. I'm so nice. And then they like kind of give you the eyebrow movement and then go into another building. And
you're like, damn it.
And you just go, and then walk in. Okay. Next one is the mid-conversation saliva launch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the worst part of that one is when it lands on them. And you both see it come out of either your mouth or their mouth, and it's awkward for everyone because you see it and you're like, where's it going to land? Yeah, and so...
The best is when the conversation keeps on going for, like 1.5 seconds after the spit launch, right? Because you're both trying to register what the hell just happened in that conversation.
Right, or see if anybody's going to say anything, or see if the person it's going to excuse themselves, be like, sorry for that, in which I never do. I just hope they didn't notice it.
Okay.
Okay. Next one is I thought I was alone flatulence fiasco. And
Okay.
that could be the main thing. This happens is when you do it, and typically it's pretty silent, but like in an office setting, you do it, and then you're like, okay, that was great. And then someone walks up, and you're like, oh no, they smell it for sure.
Like they walk right into your
yeah,
fart.
like they come up to ask you a question or something like that, and you're like, I see this mainly like when I like call center type setting, you know, and you're kind of alone in your little cubicle space, and then someone walks up, and you're like, oh, that's great. The last one is unintentional stalking. You probably are familiar with this one.
On Facebook?
Nope. This is when you are in the grocer and you see someone maybe you know or you kind of know. So you at the front of the store, you say your hellos and you don't remember their name. And then you run into them on aisle 2, on aisle 5, aisle 7. And then you just kind of walk by, hey.
You keep running into them.
You just keep running into them.
Yeah, I've experienced that before, and that is embarrassing, especially if you don't remember their name.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, well, I'm pretty good at remembering names, I'd like to think.
I'm not.
But so when I'm not able to do it, I'm always like, think, damn it. But and then when you have to keep reliving that, not being able to remember their name.
Yeah, and you both, and like in that instance, both you and them kind of know that was the problem.
Right.
Like, they're like, I'm so, like, they think, I don't know, but they think that I'm the one that remembers this person, but then you're like, I'm the ass that doesn't remember them.
Hey, you're getting cornflakes too, huh?
Cornflakes, huh?
How about them cornflakes? Yeah, getting milk now, buddy.
You gotta have it with your cereal.
That's when I start using buddy and man and dude a lot more. It's
but
like, hey, buddy.
At least you do that. Like, I don't even be like, hey. I don't even say you or man. Just hey.
Hey, friend.
Friend of that time. Anyway, yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I got.
All right. Well, you want to get into some personal stuff?
Yeah. Reveal some stuff.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Since you've done a lot of talking thus far. Shut up. I'm going to talk now.
Sorry.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to end with what was to me my most embarrassing moment, but I'm going to try to have some good ones along the way.
Okay.
So the first one, I grew up in a very well-to-do house where table manners were important, etiquette was important, and so to kind of instill that level of respect for higher dining society or whatever the hell we want to call that.
Yeah.
We had different things that we focused on throughout my childhood to help us, grow into these upper white middle class kids. So anyway, at the time of this embarrassing moment, the problem that we were having with the family was or I guess the lesson we were having with the kids was how to put your napkin on your lap before eating anything. So usually, you have all your silverware, and then the first thing you do, obviously after you say a prayer on the food, as we did at my house when I was younger, you'd grab your napkin, you'd unfold it, and you put it on your lap, okay? And I'm just doing all the motions for you. No one can...
Simple dad. I know. I'm very, enthralled with his motion. I don't know if they're going to understand it, but I'll try.
Okay. Anyways, the game was that, or the way that they were teaching the lesson was if you took a bite of your food, before putting your napkin on your lap, then you would have to wear a baby bib for the rest of dinner, okay? And this is embarrassing just in and of itself because, being the youngest, you're always being, not always, but I'd be picked on a little bit, and I wanted to be, as cool as my brothers and sisters and my parents, so, it was already embarrassing, but...
And you had a big family, so it wasn't just a couple people, it was a decent amount, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
We had a larger family. Or I guess we still do have a large family.
That's great.
So, this one time, my grandma came to visit, and my dear granny,
bless her heart.
Yep, I didn't get to see her a lot growing up because she lived back east in New York, and I made the dumb mistake. I took a bite of food. I didn't have my napkin on my lap, and my sister, just barely oldest than me, who's always being a pain in my side as we were growing up, and even today, she's a pain in my side. But I love her to death. She's great. But I'm pretty sure she was the one who's like, oh, you didn't put the napkin on your lap? And she's bringing attention to it because she can't wait for me to put on the bib.
She waits every dinner to make sure you don't put on the bib. You didn't do it.
And because my granny is there, I'm making a big deal out of this because, I mean, I got to look cool in front of my grandma, right?
Absolutely.
So I was getting so pissed off. And by pissed off, I mean that I was crying my eyes out. That was my typical response to anger when I was a child because I was the youngest, right? You just cry and then you'd get your way.
Some things never change.
So, anyway, so I made such a stink over it, and I got out of it. The problem was that my grandma became the martyr. She said she was going to wear the bib for me, which was even more embarrassing. So now, whenever we, relive that story as a family, I have to think about how embarrassing it was that I cried my eyes out because I didn't want to wear a stupid bib.
Well, there's nothing worse than being embarrassed in front of your grandma.
When you're trying to look so cool.
Yeah, you're really trying, and she's a trooper though, putting it on for you.
It's like, Grandma, watch me eat my peas and carrots. I'm going to look like a badass.
I look so cool doing this, Grandma. John didn't put on the bib.
Okay. All right, that's it. So that's my first one.
That's good. Okay, so my first one is high school time. So a lot of dates went on, I didn't go on that many dates. The dates... The dates.
That's your embarrassing moment.
That is embarrassing. The dates that I did go on, a lot of them were haunted house. So, and this is my...
What better way to get in the mood than taking a girl through a haunted house?
Yeah. So this is the date we were on, and this is my wife now, actually. And we were first dating. This is very new. We just barely even were holding hands. So we go through. I think it was Friday the 13th, Friday on whatever it is, Nightmare on 13th. I don't know. So we're walking through, and my fear in the haunted house is not getting I'm not scared of getting scared or things jumping out at me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm scared that I don't know where I'm going.
Like you're going to get lost in the haunted
because
house?
somehow I'm always the leader. I don't know how.
That's
because it's because I'm brave. It's because I'm really brave, actually. That's why I didn't think about that. But no, that I'll go in a door and there'll be a bunch of workers and they're having a break and I'm like, "What are you doing, idiot?" So, anyways, I'm going and it's pitch black and I can't see very well because it's pitch black. Damn it! Why the hell did I explain that? It's pitch black. I'm walking through.
Wait, how dark was it?
Black so much that it was pitch black. So I'm walking and I'm brave enough to hold her hand through it. I'm holding her hand. And all of a sudden something catches my foot and my body starts tilting forward and I can't stop it. The gentlemanly thing would do is let go and stop myself and crash into whatever I'm crashing in, but no, I somehow pull her down and we both dive into a huge pool of water. Yeah. And I think I swung her so she took the brunt of it. And yeah, and after that, I'm like, whoops, I couldn't see clearly, and so we get out, and that was the first haunted house, and we went through the whole haunted house soaking wet.
Whoops, I couldn't see, so I threw you in the pool.
Yeah, so threw her down in the pool. Yeah, that was.
It's remarkable that she married you.
Yeah,
you're a lucky guy.
Yep, very lucky. And she probably thought it was pretty cute.
We'll have to ask her.
Yeah,
maybe we'll invite her on.
Yeah, we should to talk about. She probably has 1,000 more embarrassing moments I don't remember.
We could do a part 2 with our wives.
That's right.
Okay. All right, I got one for you.
Okay.
So we're talking. I think it was 1998 when Godzilla came out with Matthew Broderick.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm about 14, and I'm going through some awkward phases of life, puberty, basically.
Right.
And along with puberty, you're learning about the whole idea of sex and everything that goes with it. We were discussing, my friends and I were all out on the street discussing Godzilla or something like that. Because Godzilla was asexual or something like that. It reproduced by itself in the movie, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I'm a professional at Godzilla reproduction, by the way. So anyway, so someone had made a joke about, one of my friends made a joke about my family, my mom and dad, because 8 kids, right? Obviously, they're pretty effective with their reproduction.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at him because it just I was like, what? Like, it made no sense to me. So I looked at him, and these were the exact words that came out of my mouth. I said, my parents don't have sex. They pray for babies. I'm serious. I swear to God that I said that with all of my friends staring at me at age 14.
The best part is that that sounds like a really good joke. You were like joking with your buddies, but you were probably dead serious.
I was. I'll give you the quick background. Try not to make it too boring. I obviously, if you couldn't tell from that story, had no idea like how babies were made, right?
It's kind of clear.
And so my parents, when they said, they were always telling us how they wanted each and every one of us. They wanted to kind of prove to us that none of us were a mistake or something like that. And so they would say, we prayed for you, because they're religious. They wanted those babies. And so in my mind, I thought that is how you become pregnant, is you just ask Jesus to bless your marriage with a pregnancy.
And you thought it'd be a great idea
to share that information with my friends.
With a group of friends.
All boys. Needless to say, because of this embarrassing moment and because of my good friends who would tease me to no end, I had a much better sex education from 14 and on than I did up until that point.
Were they like, boy, we got our work cut out for us?
They're like, what an idiot. So
oh,
anyway, my parents don't have sex. They pray for babies.
Well, teach their own. My next story is about circa 2003, 2004, just after I started driving. And at my high school, you're coming out of the parking lot, you're driving, and you either are turning right or you're turning left. And it takes forever to get out there.
And you're never going straight.
Never. Well, because there's a house there. So you're kind of like neck and neck trying to get out, and you can look to your left or right and see the person next to you. And so I was driving in my Nissan Maxima with my flame seat covers.
Wow.
And my friend was next to me in his Jeep, and we were playing a little game, who could head further, head fastest, who could get out of the parking lot.
Okay.
And, he's making way, I'm making way, we're looking at each other laughing, and he makes it pretty good ahead of me. But then I see an opening, and I take it, and I go, and I look at him, smile, and flip him off. And I was proud of myself. So proud of myself. And then I hit the car in front of me. And then he looks at me, really starts laughing, and speeds off.
So you didn't win?
No. We pulled over and assessed the damage. The lady was very nice.
How did you explain yourself when you smashed into someone in a parking lot?
I didn't see you. Yeah. And so got out and was like, oh, whoops. And I don't think there's that much damage, and they're both crappy cars, so we just went on our way.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's a bonus to the story, at least.
Yeah, I guess.
From your perspective.
It could have been really, really bad, but, it was actually bad enough where it was just embarrassing. I actually had a friend in the car with me, too, and I was embarrassed with him as well.
I didn't see you in this long line of cars trying to get out of a parking lot.
Yeah, she's probably like, well, what were you seeing? Were you closing your eyes or something?
I wish you would have just told her why you actually crashed into her. Well, I was racing my friend trying to get out of this parking lot, and see, he was turning right, and I was turning left, and I saw an opening, so I sped, and I flipped him off because I thought I had won, and then you were there in front of me.
And then you got my way.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, that was pretty embarrassing.
Okay. All right, I have another family story.
Okay.
So it's actually another family just oldest sister story.
Man,
Dang her.
it just made your life a living hell.
That's what siblings are for.
Yeah.
Okay, we would wake up every morning as a family early, and it was no different than any other morning. I was getting ready to go to school, except for I come down from my bedroom, just not really awake. And we sit down there at the breakfast table or whatever, and as the kind of morning is progressing, I look down at my hands, and I noticed that my hands are bright, either pink or red, like my fingernails, because someone had painted my fingernails while I was sleeping. Now,
it sounds like, I don't mean to cut you off, but it sounds like this is a drunk story. Right?
No.
That's what it sounds like.
Right, but it wasn't. Not at this age.
Okay.
And I looked at my fingernails, and I thought, oh no, I have to go to school today. Because in my mind, fingernail polish or fingernail paint is permanent. And so as it's going through my head, that I'm going to have to go to school, that my fingers are now permanently pink or bright red or whatever, I'm starting to get really pissed off.
Because it's permanent.
And by pissed off, I mean I start crying about it. And my whole family sitting there at the table, no one knows what's going on. They just see me crying, except for my sister.
Yeah.
They're like, not again. Except for my sister, who's just giggling over there on the other side of the table. Finally, my mom, because she loves me, she's like, "What?" She goes, "What is the matter with you? What's going on?" And I'm sobbing. My fingernails are painted pink, or whatever. And she looks at me. She's like, "So we'll just clean them off." And then you could just imagine, my teary eyes. The tears automatically stop. My eyes get really big, and I'm like, "We can?
There's a way.
There's a way." Anyway, so my sister got a lot. Like, that was a perfect prank because it was an overreaction, right? It was the surprise factor and everything. And my parents will still talk to me about that to this day, about the fingernails.
Well, it's great too, because she probably, everything was going so right for her. You didn't wake up. It took you a minute to notice. You came down,
Right.
And then you notice, and she's like, "Oh, this is the best."
She got to see the realization on my face when I saw my fingernails.
Oh, that'd be great.
Anyway,
That's funny.
really, it was another embarrassing moment, within my family.
All right, so
How many do you got left?
Just one.
Oh, okay, great. I only have one left. Too.
Okay, great. So my last one, I think this might have been even just a little bit after high school. So I'm dating this girl, and we're driving around in my Probe, my car.
It's not your
No,
Nissan anymore?
no. This is after my Nissan. This is my Probe, my blue Probe.
You're lucky you had a lot of cars.
Yeah, well, it's because they all overheated. This one hadn't overheated yet.
Okay.
So driving around, and we, stop. I think I was dropping her off or something. We're just sitting in my car for a minute. And for whatever reason, I don't know what compelled her to reach kind of by the seat or under the seat and pull out a book, like an art book.
Like a drawing book?
Like a drawing book.
Okay.
Yeah. So I look at it, and my heart kind of sinks, and I was like, oh, no. Like, so a little backstory is that the book...
What were you drawing in your book?
So the book was a art project thing, like for art class, AP art. No big deal.
Oh, wow.
Although I just went in there because a friend was in there. But it was just a bunch of drawings they had to draw and turn in at the end of the semester. But I had a friend in there that thought it'd be funny to draw a bunch of penises in the back of my book. And there were all kinds. Big, small, all kinds.
Long, short.
Yeah. And not only did she pick it up, she opened right to that.
She wasn't flipping through it.
No, she opened right to it. I was like, "Oh, well, I didn't do that." Yeah, so she opens right to it, and she's like, "Oh, okay." And I was like, "That's a friend that did it." And then to make matters worse, this was probably the next day or whatever, in the same car, and it gets foggy or whatever, or moisture on the windshield.
Okay.
And then a big, huge penis appears, drawing of a penis. And she's like, "Is that a penis in your window?" It's like, it could be. I don't know. I don't sit there. Same friend that did that. And this is the same friend I flipped off, by the way. And, yeah, that is also my wife now. That was
Oh,
in the
wow.
car.
All these connections within all your stories.
Yep. So just one big
That-
embarrassing circle.
That is straight out of Superbad.
Yeah, when I saw that,
Almost.
when I saw Superbad, and I thought that was extra funny because that was us. And I'll be honest, I did it to his book too.
You're like, I lived through that.
Yeah, like that was it. You
just
know,
didn't have a lunchbox.
no lunchbox, and I didn't do it for my own self pleasure. We were doing it to make each other.
You didn't draw penises for
No.
your own self-pleasure.
No.
Are you sure?
I don't think so.
Uh,
But yeah, we do it to each other to make either one embarrassed, I guess. But he won that battle because that was the ultimate embarrassment.
Was your wife your girlfriend at the time?
She's my girlfriend. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. This was
This
recent.
is funny.
Yeah. It was like early dating too because I was just out of high school and she was like still in high school.
Again,
Yeah.
I'm just amazed.
Yeah. I don't know.
You must be a pretty incredible guy.
I must be extra charming.
Okay. Well,
One more.
I got one more,
Okay.
and then we'll finish up.
'Kay.
So, this is to me my most embarrassing moment. It happened at my house. I was down in our basement, and I was hanging out with two of my friends, both of them girls, and one of them was a girl that I really, really liked. I was really trying to make her like me back. You know.
Yeah.
In fact, Stephanie and Lori. This story is about you guys and me. So if you guys are listening, there's the shout out. Okay.
Shout out.
So this girl Stephanie, right? You know, we're such good friends, and I just had a big crush on her, right? And so, you know, you're always trying to impress the girls, you know. And my family is having a dinner party or something like that upstairs, so that's why we're downstairs in the basement just hanging out, doing whatever we were doing. And we had this great idea that it was time to go upstairs and get food or, you know, go do something else upstairs. So I said, yeah, come on, follow me, let's go. And as I'm running up the steps of my basement, I feel a rumble in my stomach. It's that rumble where you know that it's going to be a quick, violent fart. And I was just crossing my fingers because, you know, they're following right behind me. And it's Stephanie right behind me, this girl that I have a huge crush on.
You know, there's gonna be a path of destruction
Yeah,
all the way
right.
behind you.
So I'm thinking maybe I run fast up the stairs, like, you know, like it'll dissipate, you know, like it won't be so
By the time
concentrated.
they get there.
It won't be so concentrated.
That was a great idea.
So, because I couldn't hold it in, that wasn't an option. So, lucky for me, it wasn't loud. It was just a silent fart. But unfortunately for me,
One obstacle down.
unfortunately for me, it smelled like a combination of rotten eggs and garbage and like
Ass.
dead rhinoceros. And then, you know, in the split second, I'm thinking maybe they won't smell it.
Maybe they have bad smelling.
But that hope quickly went away when Stephanie said, "Ugh, something smells bad." So, being the quick-witted person that I am, I saw my old dog walking up the steps with us. Rex was his name. And I pointed at him. I said, my dog farts all the time. He's really stinky. You know, trying to just, like, brush it off. And I'm pretty damn sure both Lori and Stephanie didn't believe me. 'Cause, you know, they had the look. They're like, really, dummy? That dead rhinoceros smell is definitely coming from you, not your dog.
I wish you'd been like, who smelt it, dealt it.
But they were at least gracious enough to like pretend that I was being serious. But man, like we're talking like a fart like right in the face of the girl I had a crush on. I've actually never brought it up to her because we're still friends. Stephanie and I still hang out actually.
And she's like, if she heard or if you told her, and she's like, you know, I've never smelt anything quite that horrid.
Anyway, there you go.
Fart ones are
So,
really embarrassing.
Again, Stephanie and Lori, I apologize. I farted I've made a lot of people smell my
directly in your
farts,
face, basically,
But
because you're going up this.
but you guys did not deserve that. You guys are better than that, so I apologize. Anyway, so there's embarrassing moments. That's what we got for the night. Do you have anything else you want to say?
No,
Josh?
I think that's all I'd care to share.
All right. Well, stay tuned, everybody. We are. I don't know actually how much we've talked in past podcasts, but we are starting to line up some podcasts with guests. So if you're willing to be on the podcast, or if you really have a desire to be on there, why don't you guys can shoot us a comment, and we'll see what we can do at getting up here
Get it arranged.
at the Awesome Sauce Studio.
Yep.
And we'll find a topic that you don't know anything about so that we can be done with you.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. Well, good night, everybody.
Good night.